Our top story this morning, the partial government shutdown is now into its 7th day and is expected to continue into next week. CBS's Tom Hansen is in New York with the headache it's causing some of the 800,000 federal employees affected.
December the 31st.
The Senate and the House both gavelled in and out in just minutes yesterday.
It's adjourned until 10 a.m. on Monday.
Democratic Congressman Jim McGovern tried and failed to introduce a measure in the Republican-led House to reopen the government.
I was hoping the Republicans were hearing what I was hearing back home from my constituents during the Christmas holiday, which is, you guys got to get back to Washington and reopen the government.
The partial government shutdown is now in its 7th day and is expected to continue into next week. Democrats take control of the House on January 3rd.
Compromise doesn't seem to be a word that the Democrats are willing to engage in at this point.
Democrats have refused to give President Trump $5 billion for a border wall. This isn't about the wall, the president wrote on Twitter. This is only about the Dems not letting Donald Trump and the Republicans have a win.
The most difficult part of this is the not knowing. We don't know when this will end.
About 44,000 Coast Guard employees are working without pay. Overall, about 800,000 federal employees are either working without pay or furloughed. These Coast Guard wives in Houston say the problems are building up.
He's got health conditions that we should be worrying about, not when we're going to get paid.
The Coast Guard is the only branch of the military affected by the shutdown because it's funded by the Department of Homeland Security, not the Department of Defense. Tom Hansen, CBS News.
And a new Reuters poll finds 47% of adults blame President Trump for the shutdown, 33% blame congressional Democrats, and 7% blame congressional Republicans. Also making headlines this morning, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary is expected to visit detention facilities in El Paso today following the death of 8-year-old Felipe Alonso Gomez from Guatemala. He is the second child to die in Border Patrol custody this month. Meanwhile, a shelter director in El Paso says U.S. immigration officials have recently released at least 1,300 migrants, dropping them off at bus stations. Here in Billings, a 27-year-old man is in custody after police say he stole and then crashed a Jaguar. Skylar Littlelight was arrested after he fled from police shortly before 4:30 Thursday. Police thought he was a wanted felon, which is why they went after him. Littlelight then ran a red light at the intersection of South 24th Street West and Monad Road, hitting a work truck, which then spun out and hit a Nissan Xterra. Littlelight ran from the Jaguar and tried to get into another vehicle, but was arrested. One person was transported to the hospital with minor injuries. And a bizarre story in Butte. A man is in the hospital after making threats, firing a gun, then leaping from a second-story window. The man first entered the Butte Police Department saying he was in danger. Then he walked across the street to a nearby building. Employees were told to leave after police say the man mentioned he would shoot anybody who wasn't wearing a badge. After employees escaped, the man began firing out of the second-story window. After firing 4 or 5 rounds, he then jumped out of the window, severely injuring himself. The reasons for his actions are still under investigation. CenturyLink is still working to repair service this morning after a major outage hit Montana and several other states. The internet, phone, and TV provider said it was a major path issue that caused the outages. Individual customers, banks, police departments, and other businesses across the state lost service. The company is updating its customers through Twitter, most recently saying they discovered some additional technical problems during restoration efforts, but is working tirelessly until it's complete. And because of that outage, Verizon customers in the region are experiencing problems as well. Officials at Verizon say they route their services like calls and texts through fiber lines. In our region, those lines belong to CenturyLink, so Verizon's services in the area are affected as well. Well, we are just days away from 2019, and there are some laws changing in Montana you'll want to know about. One will give a boost to minimum wage workers. Governor Steve Bullock says Montanans earning minimum wage will see a 20-cent increase to $8.50 an hour. Bullock previously said that Montana ranks among a handful of states where each year workers making minimum wage get to take home a little extra in their paychecks. In 2006, Bullock led a ballot initiative approved by Montana voters to raise the minimum wage and require that wage to be adjusted annually for inflation. The Montana Department of Labor estimates 8,200 Montana workers will receive higher wages due to the 2019 minimum wage increase. With the start of 2019 Montana legislature less than 2 weeks away, MTN chief political reporter Mike Dennison is giving us a preview of the session's big issues. Today, Mike zeroes in on the coming debate over state spending priorities and taxes.
Democratic Governor Steve Bullock has an ambitious agenda in his proposed budget, including state funding for preschool, freezing tuition and need-based aid for state colleges, and a $290 million infrastructure package. But it also includes almost $80 million a year in new taxes to help pay for it all. And Republicans who control the legislature say that's a non-starter.
We don't have an appetite to pass any taxes, and I feel very confident in saying that.
Bullock is proposing higher taxes or fees on tobacco, beer, wine, lodging, rental cars, and investment advisors, many of whom live out of state. Democratic Senate Minority Leader John Sesso of Butte says tax increases should be judged on whether they're fair and what they fund, including tax relief on other items.
I'm sure there's probably a wad of tax bills down there to reduce taxes. Well, you can't reduce taxes in areas where you think tax relief is warranted unless we're taking advantage of taxes in areas where it's common practice.
Sesso also says Bullock's infrastructure plans are a good investment for all corners of the state, rural and urban. For the past several sessions, Republicans at the legislature have rejected major infrastructure bills that borrow money. But on education funding and programs, at least one Republican leader says that's a priority for the GOP as well.
We'll make sure we put the students of Montana first, whether it's K through 12, and maybe help some pre-K students, along with kids after they graduate from high school, to make sure they have the right path forward to jobs in Montana.
Still, Hertz says Republicans want to accomplish those goals within existing tax revenue. Governor Bullock and fellow Democrats wonder if that's possible and want lawmakers to keep their options and their minds open.
I sure hope that neither Democrats or Republicans will start drawing the lines in the sand in December, because their constituents expect government to be funded.
I'd say some of those lines are already drawn. But during 4 months of a legislative session, there's plenty of time to see some shifting sands as well. At the Capitol, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
And tonight at 5:30 on Q2, Mike looks at the issue of drugs, both illegal and legal. Now we go to Wyoming, where a rock slide damaged a guardrail and blocked westbound lanes of U.S. Highway 14-1620 west of Cody. On Thursday afternoon, the Wyoming Department of Transportation used tiny explosives called boulder busters to break up the rocks to make them small enough for equipment to use. Cody Beers with the department says the rockfall was naturally caused Thursday morning and no one was injured in the slide or near it at the time. The area was cleared by 12:30 Thursday afternoon. One last story before we take a break. 'Tis the season to return holiday gifts. CBS's Hillary Lane has tips to make sure the process is stress-free.
On Christmas morning, Steve Wardman surprised his wife Patty with a pair of boots she wanted, but it wasn't the perfect fit.
My Ugg boots are too little.
The Wardmans say they're planning to return the boots next week.
Are you sad that they have to go back?
I am. I bought her size, but they just don't fit.
If you want to return gifts you received this year, experts say the key is to know the company's return policy.
Return policies can really differ. Some stores make it really easy and some stores make it kind of hard.
Donna Rosado, senior editor at Consumer Reports, says many stores have extended their return period to give you more time to bring back your holiday gifts. Stores with the most lenient policies include Nordstrom, LL Bean, Zappos, and Kohl's.
Nordstrom has a very generous policy. In fact, they don't even have a return policy. They say they take it on a case-by-case basis, but it's an unlimited return window, meaning anytime you buy it, it can be returned. And they don't require a receipt.
But many retailers will only let you return a gift until the first or second week of January. And other companies won't take back an item if it was on sale.
The stores that have the toughest return policies make it really hard to return it in a timely way.
When it comes to online retailers, items shipped by Amazon between November 1st and December 31st can be returned until January 31st. If you're returning to a brick and mortar store, Rosado says make sure you bring the gift receipt if you were given one. If not, expect a store credit or a refund for the lowest sale price. Make sure to keep the item in its original packaging, and if it's clothing, keep the tags on. Hillary Lane, CBS News, New York.
If you're returning an item from an online retailer like Amazon, some items may be eligible for free return shipping, and it is best to check with the company.